welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break, Throwback Thursday style. Of course, the lunch break is powered by JM&E. I am KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Thank you for tuning in today on YouTube as well as on Roku. And on Roku, if you're watching, courtesy of the BS3 Network. If you don't have BS3, if you don't have Roku, download BS3. Get the app, please. Please. If not, you can go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com and you watch great shows like this one, The Takeover. We're going to talk business and hoops, Big 12, some SWAC TV, and some Rockets, and some NCAA March Madness. What in the hell? But it was inevitable. Alas, you know what I'm talking about there, the expansion to 76 teams. Oh my gosh, whatever. But first things first, Big 12, because my alma mater is in the Big 12 conference. So as viewers know of the takeover, I really talk about my alma mater news pertaining to the Cougs first. And this news pertains to the Big 12/Cougs. So let's get into it. The Big 12 lands a private capital deal. Private capital deal. The Big 12 struck its long-discussed private capital deal, the first such publicized conference-wide agreement in major college sports. The goal of the deal, and let me say this, let me give kudos to the information I'm getting this from, is Ross Dellinger at Yahoo Sports and Amanda Kristovich at Front Office Sports. Back to the info. The goal of the deal, which was first reported in December, has three components. First, the two will work together, Big 12 and Redbird Capital, on commercial development to source extra revenue for the conference. Second, the conference will receive a $12.5 million capital infusion to aid with revenue generation. This would also allow the Big 12 as a conference to become an investor in other companies to earn revenue. Third, schools will have access to up to $30 million. Quote from Commissioner Brett Yormark to FOS Front Office Sports. I do believe in times of uncertainty, you want to have a strong bench behind you, and we've got a strong bench now, end quote. Okay. The Big 12 is describing the deal as the quote, Redbird Business Development Partnership, end quote. As part of their Collegiate Athletic Solutions Partnership, the firms are co-investing the infusion into the conference with an expected return. As you're watching this, that's key, an expected return. Private capital, that's what they do. However, the capital partners will hold no ownership in the league, and the deal will not change the operation or governance of the conference, Commissioner Yormark told Yahoo Sports. The vote from presidents and chancellors last Thursday finalized an agreement that's been under discussion now for more than 2 years. A deal spearheaded by Yormark and his board chair, Doug Garrard, the Kansas University president. Last May, Yormark told FOS that the conference's presidents and chancellors were not interested in a private equity deal. But because this deal did not offer equity or ownership stakes, many Big 12 members were in favor of it, a source previously told FOS. The first part of the deal, Redbird will provide expertise and assistance with procuring additional revenue streams for the conference, including things like sponsorship or more involved investment opportunities. These deals could include both opportunities within Redbird's existing portfolio or outside of it. For example, in an informal capacity last year, Redbird helped the Big 12 finalize a deal with the non-conference basketball tournament Players Era, a company owned by Ever Wonder Studios, which is owned partially by Redbird. Got that? This is a quote from President Garrard. KU President Garrard, Board Chair Garrard. At the highest level, what I hope to get out of this is a really strong partnership that positions our conference well into the future, including for our next media deal by creating increased value, end quote. The $12.5 million in capital to the league, a number that could grow, will be invested in, quote, end quote, revenue generating opportunities, Garrard said. In essence, the league could take some of the capital to become an investor in its own right, striking deals with companies it believes would provide additional revenue streams for the conference. Does that make you feel any better? Let me know as you're watching this on Thursdays or on demand later on in the comments. I'm really curious what the viewers think about this idea. I've already seen some comments on Facebook and Blue Sky. No one likes it. But some more info for you. The third part of the deal. Individual schools can get a capital infusion somewhat akin to a line of credit. Redbird is offering up to $30 million in investments for any Big 12 school. None are required to take the money, but if they do, the deal would be between Redbird and the school. The conference would withhold a portion of their annual school distribution for Redbird on an annual fixed repayment schedule. However, these withholdings would theoretically be covered by the extra revenue Redbird would help generate at the conference level, sources previously told Front Office Sports. Between December and April, the Big 12 negotiated more favorable terms for this deal than were previously reported, a source familiar with the matter told Front Office Sports. The repayment schedule for the Big 12's capital infusion will be at a fixed rate over the 5 years of the deal. The conference office will also pay a $1.25 million annual retainer fee. All of these fees are considered standard industry practices. It's unclear how many of the Big 12's 16 universities plan to accept the option of up to $30 million in credit. Schools have 1 year to make a decision on the one-time capital infusion. Those within the conference believe that as few as 2 and as many as a half dozen programs plan to take the money, which comes at a rate just south of 10%. Prior to the agreement, Redbird, led by founder and chief investment officer Jerry Cardinal, has already facilitated more than $130 million worth of revenue for the Big 12 over the next 5 years through business arrangements with entities such as PayPal and the Players Era. Here's a little bit more, make you go, perhaps. Perhaps one of the most noteworthy benefits of the deal is the exclusive college partnership with Redbird, a New York-based investment management firm with $15 billion in assets and an array of companies within its portfolio, including Paramount Global. Paramount holds ownership of CBS and soon is expected to acquire TNT, two of the leading broadcast partners within the college sports ecosystem. The Big 12's current media deal, primarily owned by ESPN and Fox, ends in 2031. A league's media rights deal usually accounts for a majority of a conference's revenue distributed to its member schools. So that part is really from the Yahoo article via Ross Dellinger. So is Ross inferring that in the next media rights deal for the Big 12, that the Big 12 will become more synced with TNT, Turner Sports, via Paramount, and possibly give what many fans and Big 12 media members, some colleagues, but more mainly fans, a Big 12 network. Would Turner Sports provide more content for the conference, more coverage of all the sports, not just football and men's basketball? Could that be in the future? Is that a part of Big Brett Yormark playing chess, not checkers? Thinking down the line and doing this private capital deal with an eye on a future partnership with Turner Sports and Paramount. What do you think? Does that make you feel any better regarding the Big 12 Conference new deal, new partnership with Redbird Capital? Let me know. I'm curious what you think. Regarding the change in terms, the lower payback rate, a little under 10%. I know this for a fact. Sources at Houston Athletics months ago, when this was initially, the news first leaked, was reported in December regarding the Big 12 forming a partnership with Redbird or with a capital firm. I was told by sources that those reports were leaked too soon because the conference was not as close to reaching a deal as the reports indicated. And one of the reasons for the pullback from the conference, as stated, was some of the terms, the financial terms. And one of those was the percentage, the rate to pay back the line of credit. So now that it has been reduced to just under 10%, Houston Cougar fans, Houston Cougar alums, Houston Cougar supporters, does it make it better for you? Does it make it more palatable for you? And as an aside, my Houston Roundball Review YouTube members, I mentioned that info to them back in December, months ago. That's one of the perks of being a Houston Roundball Review YouTube member. You receive content before the public. And sometimes I share things with them in videos, text, word, that I don't share to the public. But does that make it more palatable for you? Do you think Houston should do this? Houston Athletics should get in bed with Redbird Capital to get a $30 million infusion of capital, a line of credit? If you don't, tell me why. What's your biggest concern, your biggest fear? It's not equity in the conference. It's not equity per se. It's capital. It's capital infusion. It's a line of credit, basically, that you will have to pay back over 5 years. And if it's just it's the fine print. The devils are in the details. That's one thing one of my sources told me. The devils are in the details. So let's make sure makes sense for UH. Is there anything else that has not been made public yet that Houston would say, no, we're still not going to do this? Or details are now, I think this makes more sense for us, so let's go ahead and do it. We'll see. I'm curious what will happen with my alma mater and the decision they make. Time will tell, but let me know what you think about that.